Sound like those cars that when you're close, another car is close to you, or people go off.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna put this on TikTok. I want to show like how Africans live here. You know, I'm not saying that there aren't any successful Africans that come here.
Right.
You know, that do actually, you know, do the right thing.
Right.
But to say that Africans come here, say that Africans come here and work hard, and you know, we do this and Black Americans don't do anything. You know, I disagree with that, man, because I see like crackhead Africans come here, man, all kind of Africans. See, like right there in the that's government housing right there.
Right.
And that's where a lot of them Africans live, in government housing right here on the left. Right?
Yeah.
These are the bricks. Now, Black Americans used to live there a long time ago, right? But now you find Africans live in these homes, you know?
Right.
And this is like where a lot of them, I've actually seen some Africans, like when they first arrived here, those refugees, when they first got here, they would actually squat, because they probably weren't used to bathrooms, and they would literally squat. That's the school that they go to.
Right.
Because remember that year I went there and I talked to them?
Yeah.
I talked to the students. Right there on the left, this woman, she actually squat on the ground and poop.
Yeah, that's what they do.
She squat on the ground and poop. You know? This is where a lot of, and this is where they talking about like, oh, they thrive, and there's a couple of African kids right there. They talking about like, oh, they come here, they thrive, and they don't take no government assistance. They do, because right down in Manhattan, they were getting government assistance. They get those EBT cards with like $15,000 on it. You know, a lot of them go to that little Rise Center right there too.
Yep.
That's also government right there. That Rise Center. So don't tell me that they come here with nothing. And how you gonna come here and tell me you pay all these fees and you pay your way, but then at the same time you tell me, oh, we came here with nothing? If you're paying all these fees, apparently you got something. And if you could come here and be all successful, why couldn't you do it where you come from? Right? Why couldn't you do it where you come from? You know, if you were that smart and you did all that, your government wouldn't be all jacked up. You guys coming from a wealthy climate, we ask you the same question. Like, how could you live on a continent where you have everything, natural resources and everything, and yet you're poor?
Right.
We ask the same question. Where you have to flee and come to America.
Doesn't make no sense. Doesn't make no sense at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you where some Africans live, other than back there, and they're not living in no real nice houses.
I don't see no luxury homes.
Nope. See what about Kirby?
Yeah, so I know there's quite a bit that will take a bus to a very nearby city or suburb, and the management literally has to pull them aside to tell them about hygiene.
Why?
Because they stank bad.
Wow.
They smell really, really bad, and they look lost.
Yeah.
He said they look completely lost, like they don't know what soap is, and they certainly don't know what deodorant is. So they stink really bad.
Remember that African that I showed you that video of that African down the Y? That was trying to sneak drugs and alcohol in the building?
Right.
Right? And because I wouldn't let him, come in there, he called me a beach. He said, you beach. He called me a beach, like where the water is.
Right.
You know? He called me a beach. You beach. Right? And then he said he was gonna then he said he's gonna put voodoo on me. Right?
Yeah.
He said he's gonna put voodoo on me. Right? He was mad. And then he called the police and was like, Black American said he's gonna kill me, come quick. I got my rights. And he's standing there, remember I showed you the video? He's sitting there leaning on the counter looking at me on the phone calling the police, talking about black American said he's gonna kill me, come quick.
Yeah, scared.
You know, I got my rights. And then when the police got there, because he thought that the police was gonna just shoot me because they watched too much of the news.
Yep.
You know, the news be telling lies. And so they was watching too much of the news and just felt that the police was gonna come and just shoot me down.
Right.
Because I'm a black American, right? The police came there and I let him talk to the cops first. He spoke to them. Then he came to me and I let him know this is what's going on. And the cop ended up getting on their case. Told him if he didn't get back up in his room, they were going to arrest him.
That's right.
Right?
It was reversed on him. It was like
it was
America.
Yeah, it was reversed because they think, for some reason, they think that because of what they see on TV and what they hear, they think that black Americans and white people are just constantly at battle with each other.
No.
You know, just like they got poor people in Africa, a lot of poor people.
Right.
They got poor people here in America.
Right.
You know, people that don't want to do for themselves. It's not like the whole black Americans that just don't take advantage of the opportunities here. There's a certain benefits that we can't take advantage of.
That's true.
We don't qualify because we make too much. They tell us we make too much.
Right.
You know, so for her and other Africans to say black Americans don't take advantage of the opportunities, it's because of the fact that we're turned down because they say we make too much. That building right on the left-hand side is boarded up. That used to be a really nice building. And them Africans used to live up in there. And that one African female that killed that old lady,
Yeah.
that was all up in the news where African female killed that old lady. She killed the senior.
Didn't care.
And didn't care, you know? You know? She didn't even care. And now that building is all boarded up because they destroyed it.
Right.
They didn't know how to take care of it.
I don't understand how they say they don't need assistance, don't get assistance.
Right?
What is that all about? Because I remember taking a client downtown. Actually, it was a Caucasian client. And when I went downtown with the client, took the elevator up to the main floor to apply for the SNAP. And
so, well, for them that don't know, what is SNAP?
food stamps.
Welfare.
Welfare.
And what'd you see?
Africans.
All them Africans.
All in their garb, and it was a lot of them. They had their, you know, the ladies had their attire on, their African attire on.
They all had their African garb on.
Yep,
and they was in line for food stamps.
And the man was right there with them, with their sandals on.
And they talk about they don't get no food stamps.
They were standing in line with all their children and waiting for food stamps or some type of cash assistance. So I don't know what's meant by
This is how they live, huh? Look at these houses on the left and the right.
Yep.
But this is where thriving Africans live. The thriving Africans live over here.
Yep.
On the north side. This is where the thriving Africans live. All those hard-working, thriving Africans. They're not outside. You know, most of them ain't outside because it's raining. Yep. This is where the thriving Africans live. It's a gutter, and there's always crime going on over here. Drug dealing, gang banging, and shootings. Always taking place over here. Among these thriving Africans. I have to come by here one day like when they're outside.
Yeah, let them rain out because it's raining.
Yeah, it's raining outside.
Across the street there.
These are the thriving Africans.
Yep. Really came over and living good.
Mm-hmm.
Living good.
It's a poor section. I remember when this area used to be like really thriving. You know, the houses were nice. There was a lot of businesses over here. But now it's like just a piece of junk. We're always hearing about, you know, shootings or killings going on over here. Robberies. And a lot of the robberies are the Africans breaking in people's homes. You know, that's how they thriving. They working hard breaking in people's houses.
That's right.
One day I want to walk. I'm gonna come here like when it's nice outside, when everybody's out, and I'm gonna have the camera on me, and I'm gonna walk around this area just to show you how it looks. It looks like the Middle East. All of these people walking around with their hijabs on, you know.
Yep.
Thriving Africans are. And then see, inside these homes are like a mess. Mice and rat and roach infested. But they come here, they thriving though. They're really hard workers. Yeah, a lot of these places are boarded up, man, and they talk about they come here thriving. And they got the audacity to say that black Americans are jealous of them. Jealous of what? We ain't even paying you no mind. If anything, they try to be like black Americans. That's why they try to dress like us. They try to sound like us. That's probably an African driver right there, isn't it? Look at that dude right there. This is where they live. Yep, look how that, you see. It was I should go back and show them that crackhead thriving African. Yeah. I should have a conversation with him and say, yo man, y'all paid all that money to come over here? You don't get government help? Look at this one on the left right there. I gotta stop over in Tops. Oh, look at this guy. See that African right there? He's thriving. Man.
That side street or the next.
Them prices like were crazy.
Yeah.
Them prices were crazy up in there, boy. They're taking advantage of them people. Yeah. And did you see that African dude stand at the register? What did he have in his hand? How was he paying for his stuff?
No, he had an EBT card.
He had a government EBT card.
Now that is not thriving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they got the nerve to talk about. They got the nerve to be talking about like, oh, we don't take government assistance. We come here with our own money, and we pay for things ourselves.
No.
And black Americans are jealous of us.
No, they're lying. They are straight up lying.
Black Americans are jealous of us.
Who's paying for it is the taxpayers.
The taxpayers are paying for it.
In this country, there ain't no way.
EBT cards, man. That dude
Yep.
paid for it with an EBT card. That's a man. That wasn't a woman.
Right. Yeah,
The men's supposed to be working. But they getting government assistance.
yeah. So
But I'm gonna strap the GoPro to me. Look how they driving. I'm gonna strap a GoPro to me, and I'm gonna come over here walking.
yeah, but definitely.
I'm gonna park the car and
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk, and I'm gonna just show how they live, like when they outside.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That way. I know a lot of people live around that one street, the street that you and I have in common that we grew up on.
And the thing about it, I bet they being charged. Actually, the taxpayers being charged a fortune. They're being charged a fortune for the people to stay over here, you know, in these houses, because they know the taxpayers are paying for it.
Oh yeah. Because if they're really thriving, they would be able to.
Yeah, if they was thriving, they wouldn't be living over
Regular
in
rent.
yeah, they wouldn't be in drug infested, gang infested neighborhoods.
Yep.
See, he was back there standing, like, probably more than likely on a government phone that taxpayers are paying for.
A lot of spots too. That's deep in the cut.
Yeah, we went inside Tops and they paying for their stuff with the EBT card. And they got there and say, oh, we don't get government assistance. Really? What's the EBT card?
Right.
I'm gonna go down on North Salina Street and I'm gonna head back to our neck of the hood. All right, I can end this right now. So we leave in their environment.
Right.
Just wanted to show where they live at.